Try and decide between Nectar or Casper and don't know which one to get? Well, you clicked on the right video. Hey, how's it going? This is Owen, I'm a CNET, and today I'm taking the brand new Nectar Classic and the relatively new Casper One and putting them head to head to figure out which one might be best for you. This used to be a much simpler comparison because the beds didn't have all that much in common, but this comparison's a little bit trickier because both beds have been updated and there's a lot less different about them. More information should be linked in the description, including a written comparison if you want to check that out, but I think this video should be everything you need. We're going to cover what these beds have in common, how they're different, and why you might want to get the Nectar Classic, and why you might want to get the Casper One. If you find this video helpful or interesting in any way, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. But let's just kick it off by first covering how these beds are similar. First off, both of these beds use all foam constructions and they don't use coils. This means both beds are going to be most ideal for medium to petite size individuals, not necessarily for heavy ones. We generally recommend if you are above 225 pounds to look into getting a coil mattress for the long-term support and durability that coils provide. Now there are hybrid options available with both brands. With Nectar, you have just the same mattress, just with coils. The Nectar Classic Hybrid is going to be a little bit softer. We've done a full written review of that if you want to check it out. It has enhanced edge support in comparison to the foam version, but it doesn't do quite as good a job at isolating cross-mattress motion. Now, the Nectar Classic Hybrid is only about $150 more than the Nectar All Foam. We'll talk about price here later on in the video, but when we're looking at Casper, there's no really hybrid version of the Casper One. You're looking at an entirely different mattress that's quite a bit more expensive, so if you are looking for a hybrid, that might be a point in Nectar's favor, but by default, both beds use foam for support. Now, the other big thing that these beds have in common, which is significantly different than the old comparison we used to make between the now discontinued Casper Original and Nectar Original, and we think these beds both have a similar firmness profile. Both beds, in our opinion, are around a medium firm, which means they're most ideal for strict back and stomach sleepers and certain combo sleepers. But I think if you're a primary side sleeper, you'll be finding both of these mattresses a bit too firm for you. You might wind up with some hip and shoulder pain over time, or you're just going to be tossing and turning a lot because you wind up with maybe a numb arm or something. When we put these mattresses on our new Mattress Masher, we did find that the Nectar Classic was about an 8.1 out of 10, and then the Casper One was about a 6.4. So the Casper One's a little bit softer, but it's not something I'd recommend for side sleepers in general. Both beds have a similar firmness profile. And again, if you're looking for softer mattresses, both brands do have quite a few options. You have the Nectar Premier and the Nectar Luxe, and with Casper, all of their mattresses are softer than the Casper One. It is the firmest bed they make by design. So those are the big things these beds have in common. Let's get into the main differences, starting with construction and feel. So the construction of these beds are pretty similar in design. They are both made with 3 foam layers with dense support foam, a transition layer, and a main comfort layer. However, the way they are arranged is a little bit different, and on the Casper One, the more responsive layer is the main comfort layer, and then on the Nectar Classic, the memory foam layer is the top layer. So on the Nectar Classic, you get more of a straightforward dense memory foam feel, although it's going to be a little bit more responsive than your average memory foam because of the transition layer underneath. However, with the Casper One, you have that more responsive top layer that you're laying right on top of, so you have more of a neutral feel. So if you are a big fan of memory foam, the Nectar Classic makes all the sense in the world. You'll get that nice body-conforming sink-in quality. But on the Casper One, it doesn't really have that strict memory foam feel. It's more bland, I would say, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Most people tend to like a feel like this. And so if you don't love memory foam, then you probably want to go with the Casper One. And there's a pretty significant difference with policies when it comes to the Casper One and the Nectar Classic, namely the trial period and the warranty. Both are bed-in-a-box mattresses, they'll ship at no extra cost, and both do come with a trial period. It's just Nectar's is significantly longer. You're looking at a 365-night trial period with Nectar, as opposed to a 100-night with the Casper One. I think 100 nights is enough time to really determine if the mattress is right for you, but having more time is obviously nicer. And the Nectar Classic also comes with a lifetime warranty, as opposed to a standard 10-year warranty. So the policies on the Nectar Classic are a bit more generous. And then the last big thing we need to cover is pricing. You're gonna be saving a bit of money going with the Nectar Classic over the Casper One. Right now, as of I'm recording this video, you can pick up the Nectar Classic for only $649, which is a very, very low price point. Nectar has always been a very solid value, which is why it's so popular. And with the Casper One, you're looking at $800 after discount for a queen size, which I think is a solid value, but it's obviously more expensive than the Nectar Classic. Now, one thing worth mentioning is that the Nectar Hybrid is going to be a little bit more expensive than the Nectar All Foam version, and that one is $800 after discount, which is the exact same price as the Casper One. So I think you just have a bit more options when it comes to low price mattresses with Nectar. And that's really gonna do it for this comparison. There are a lot of things that I mentioned, but I think the one thing you need to keep in mind is that these mattresses feel significantly different, and that should probably inform your decision. One thing that I think is nice about Nectar is that because you have such a long trial period, you could try it out if you're not really a fan of memory foam, and maybe you'll grow to like it, or maybe 6 months down the line, you'll return it and try something else. Personally, I prefer the Nectar Classic. I prefer the Nectar Classic Hybrid the most. I think that bed is really, really nice, and it's a bit softer than the all foam version. But there are plenty of people out there who prefer the nice neutral feel of the Casper One that has a bit more bounce in comparison to Nectar. So it's really up to you, but I think the biggest thing you need to keep in mind is that difference in feel. Again, make sure to look down below in the description. There's a lot more information to help you with your online mattress search. So be sure to take a look down there. If you found this video helpful or interesting, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. But that's gonna do it for me. This is Owen with CNET. I'll see you in the next one.